Namaste to all of you. Thank you, Muthu, for the nice introduction to talk about healthy milk and oil, Narayanji and all the others, organizers. We know that our first food is milk, and that's why we are conducting this topic. And there was a wonderful chanting of Krishna's Nama. When we think of Krishna, we only get the image immediately of Krishna as the cowherd. Cow is the second mother for us. So for me, the first home is India and the second home is US. I would say second mother. So in 97, I was given an opportunity to work at Roswell Park Cancer Institute. And my project was on why children get secondary cancer. So I was very shocked coming from India to US where babies were brought for chemotherapy. At that time, I thought only old people get cancer, but it was shocking to see children getting cancer even in the year 1997. But now in India, it is not a surprise. Hospitals are flooded with more children getting sick. So the milk is a product that we need rethinking. So in 1998, I was buying my groceries in Tops. People who are in the New York area know it is a shop where they go for groceries. And in 98, even many people would not have heard of organic, the word. I was very fortunate to buy the only product at that time, organic, was the organic milk. And this was sold only in this shop in a very small counter. And I started using it because I wanted, I was also connected to Lord Vishnu, Krishna. So I was thinking the milk should be of high quality that I drink, and that should not be adulterated or fed with feed that is not meant for the cows. So that is how I started with the organic milk in 98. And then after marriage, I and Priya moved to Fairfield, Iowa. And that's where we got encountered with Maharishi's group, where they had a very unique store, everybody's store, and most of the products were organic. And we enjoyed the Golden Door Market also, where they sold the products which are of organic nature. And in the Maharishi's University of Management, they had this wonderful dining where everything was organic and vegetarian. And in the same town, for the first time, I happened to understand about unhomogenized milk. So in living in New York, I knew only about organic milk. But then this new term, unhomogenized, I was able to understand after being with this group. And Francis Thick, who was the founder of Radiance Dairy, Iowa, he told, I don't homogenize the milk. So what is homogenization? We are in Kali Yuga, so we are very, very lazy to do any extra work. So when milk is purchased, the raw milk without any processing, it will form a creamy layer on the top. And when we open the bottle, many women, they get frustrated looking at the fat on the top. So they want without the fat. So the fat has to be homogeneous. You can see in the picture, raw milk will be, the fat and the protein are equally present in the milk. But one milk I was mentioning. So what is this homogenized and unhomogenized milk? So we have to understand that when we milk the cow, the raw milk, where you can see where I'm moving the mouse, raw milk, all the fat and proteins are all well dispersed, homogenized. The moment you chill any milk, you put it in the fridge, the fat comes on the top, But unhomogenized milk, what they do is they pass the milk to high pressure and break the fat. Now, all the milk that is sold throughout the world, including India, is homogenized milk. So in Fairfield, Iowa, I learned that we should not be drinking homogenized. It may be convenient for us to pour the milk from the can or from the packet where we cannot see the fat collected on the top, but it is really bad for our health. Our body cannot digest the fat and it will accumulate, and that's what plagues and heart disease, everything come. Recently, they published this paper, so that was a paper, Effect of Homogenization and Heat Treatment on the Behavior of Fat and Globules from Canada. They have published in the year 2017, and this is what they've shown. So you can see the pictures, fresh whole milk after going through the esophagus, and it goes to the intestine. Then it gets completely digested, you can see on the left side. But if you look at the center one, homogenized milk, it is not digested properly. And the third one, when it is heated, it is also even more worse. So when we try to drink homogenized milk, it is good for the milk selling company because it will not get spoiled. It is good for mothers who are lazy, who doesn't like the fat to be collected on the top. It is good. But all of the family members who are taking homogenized milk, their health will be compromised. Now it is very, very sad to see this year, this paper has come, impact of homogenization on donor human milk also. Now mothers who are going for work, they are not able to give the milk on time. So what they do is they squeeze the milk, refrigerated the milk, and ask somebody for the baby taker to ingest the milk. And also there are donors who give milk for mothers who doesn't have enough milk. Now many companies have started making homogenization of human milk even. Even mother's milk, they have made a human milk homogenized. And now this paper says it is really, really bad for the health of the infant. I'm not going into the details of the paper, but I wanted to tell whatever milk you are drinking, according to the modern research, it is very clear it will cause health challenges. And that's where all over the world we see people becoming vegan. We have to make it very clear, milk is not a problem. People are turning to vegan because of many problems, cancer, diabetes, and leaky gut syndrome, allergy, asthma. I know many people who tried all treatments for allergies. When they stopped drinking milk, all these complications went away. They think that milk is bad. Not at all. Milk is the second food after our mother's milk. But the problem is all these processes that are going on. So make sure your milk is unhomogenized. Now, coming to the second part is, I'm not going again to the detail, but they clearly show that when the baby is born, natural birth, that is vagina, versus if they are born with C-section, home delivery or environment, given with antibiotics or not antibiotics, all these infant formula or breastfed, all these factors are definitely affecting the child. And if you look at the other slide, in the initial time, there is no problem, but in the long term, there is consequences. Initially, we will see only diarrhea, dysentery, but in the long term, asthma, allergy, obesity, cancer, even psychiatric diseases are coming because of this food that we are being exposed in the very early age. Now, there are a lot of studies showing that why milk is very important, especially in India. Whether it is North Indian or South Indian, everybody takes milk product. There is no vegan concept here because we need lactobacillus in our gut, because the first time when we drink mother's milk, our digestive system is not very active. The enzymes are still need to be active, but by the time we have got mother's vaginal bacteria, lot of healthy bacteria are there like lactobacillus, they get into our intestine even before we start drinking the milk. These bacteria are ready to now get the mother's milk, start to digest it. And that is why when they check the in PCR basis and sequencing, what is the stool content of the infants, they see Firmicutes bacteria 60%. Lactobacillus is almost like 38%. So the cow's milk also, before going to that, now even in lactobacillus they have studied so many subspecies. The mother's milk on the top, they have analyzed what are the different bacteria that is coming from the breast milk. All this time we are thinking mother's milk we are drinking just for the protein and the fat and the lactose sugar. Now they understand that not only that, the bacteria from the mother's breast is also contributing to the child's long-term health. Now they look at the stool of the child, they are seeing so many subspecies of bacteria, lactobacillus, mucus, reminis, crispatus, salivarius, all that. So it is becoming very, very important to understand why we drink milk in a healthy way. Now, how do we know whether it is healthy or not? Even breast milk is now not healthy. Mother's milk is not healthy because mother's diet is very, very important. In traditional India, women have been given so many taboos. You should not do this, you cannot do that, like that, all this, because they have to be very careful because they are going to create the next 7 generations. So that is why mostly these restrictions have been given. Diet, especially after delivery, is very, very important. Now, when I started to work in Iowa, I was testing food from the year 2000, and I used to get a red color powder, and that said that it was cattle feed. I thought it is beetroot powder given to these cows. Later on I was shocked. From USDA website, this is what I got the screenshot. So it's government approved. It says non-prohibited material that can be given as cattle feed. Look, government all over the world, don't think it is US, all over the world, look at what have been permitted to be used for animal feed, blood and blood products. So in the year 2000, I looked into the website, how many cows have been killed in US alone in 1 year? More than 200,000 cows. So I just calculated, if the cow, we have like 5 liters, the cow definitely has 20 liters of blood. Let's say 10 liters for easy calculation. So every single, not in a year, every single day, 200,000. So 2 million liters of blood is coming out every day. Where will they go and throw it? They cannot throw in the ocean. So what they do is they dry it and then mix with soy meal, feather meal, bone meal, and give it to cows. Now you can understand that cow's milk is what we are drinking. It is definitely going to change our health. And that's what happening with people who are vegetarians, who drink milk, and they're totally confused that they are having many diseases. So I'm not going to spend the time on just this one slide. I wanted to see that all these are allowed, and more shocking is the last one. recovered cooking oil from restaurants and food processors. This was my shocking thing in my life. I have tested waste oil from in US restaurants and the carcass, which is burnt thing after frying, like potato chips and all, they fry chicken, all that fried, whatever that is leftover, that is also being fed to these cows by mixing with feed. And tallow is a solid fat extracted from animals, that is also given. Dicalcium phosphate from animals. It is very, very disgusting to know that all these come into the animal, that is the cows, and from there it gets into us. Not only US, even you look at the European Commission, they have approved all this. So all over the world that is there. And also chicken feather all over the world is powdered and given to chicken feed, and also it is fed to cows. So I'm not again going too much on detail, but now we'll quickly move on. Okay, now I have to be careful on drinking organic milk. Then second is unhomogenized, and make sure they are grass fed. What else should I look for? Now comes this A1, A2 milk. A1 milk is the Jersey, Holstein, Ayrshire milk of the Western European cow breed. Indian cow or Vedic cow or Desi cow is very different. That is the original cow, and from there it got mutated into these animals. Like the COVID virus getting mutated, the Indian cow somewhere got mutated when it was taken to the Western world, and there it got mutated. And then now the milk casein, there is a protein in milk called casein that behaves differently. Now you can look at this slide. In the left side I have shown beta casein A2 and A1, meaning the milk of the Western cow and our Indian Desi cow are exactly the same composition. Only difference is there is one change in the protein of the milk. A2 will have a proline amino acid, and the A1 will have a histidine. Now what will happen if I drink that? What happens is there will be a cleavage, and that peptide is called BCM. So simple, if you drink A2 milk, the BCM peptide will not be formed. If you drink A1 cow's milk, this BCM peptide is formed. Okay, what happens to that? I'll skip one slide here. Does a little difference make a big difference? Bovine beta casein A1 and A2 variants and human health and update. This was published last year. They clearly show that when this peptide goes into the human system, look at on the left side top, for children, mental disorders increases. All over the world, children's psychiatry problem increases. I am very shocked living in India just for past 3 years. I am every day getting children brought to our diagnostic lab for mental disorders, autism, hyperactivity, and so many. Celiac disease, sudden infant death syndrome, leaky gut syndrome. This peptide goes and causes high inflammation. Again, I'll tell you, if we drink Indian native cow, Deshi cow, in Tamil, Nattu Pasumadu, in Malayalam, Nadan Pashu, this milk is very, very healthy for us. But the Western will release this peptide and it will cause damage to our intestine. Look at now, they studied with adults also. From the left side you can see A1, A2 milk. Protein all is the same, no difference. So people thought there is no difference between the milk of the Western and Jersey milk and our native, but now they see that it damages gut. All these inflammatory diseases related to gut, colon cancer, allergies, asthma increases, brain psychiatry problem occurs, bone problem, rheumatoid arthritis, joint problem, all this related to the arthritis, it comes, heart problems, ischemic heart disease, everything comes because of this milk. So that is why in not only in India, US also, there is a huge demand for A2 milk. And we see from the positive side, this is published last year, July. You can see sports nutrition health performance. They did a beautiful study on sports people taking A1 and A2 milk. Sports people who took A2 milk, they performed better in sports because they were able to digest the protein well, as we seen in the earlier slide. So you can look at the papers are published, but this information doesn't reach the public. No media will report all this. Only people like us who are spreading good awareness, they will understand this. Now comes the reason. Okay, I will again change to this one. They found that in that paper, this is from the paper I have taken. People who have taken the A2 milk for athletic health, they found that better muscle repair and growth. Because when they run or do sports, they're going to damage their muscles. They found A2 milk quickly repairs it. They become better. Rehydration is there. Bone health and strength is there. Better protein synthesis. Diabetes is not happening. Better glycogen. There is a good energy balance. All this comes. Now going into the deeper, what happens is what now we can understand that the gut bacteria is changed with the type of milk we drink, like A2 milk or A1 milk. Also the type of food we eat, polyphenol rich food, also will cause the ratio to change good bacteria and bad bacteria. If the balance of good and bacteria, bad and bacteria is there, it is called symbiosis. If there is an imbalance, it is called dysbiosis. If we have symbiosis, meaning more good bacteria than the bad, we will be having no digestive problem. We don't need to take pills for digestive disorder, gas problem, bloating, belching, ulcer, all the constipation, all this won't happen. We don't need to take extra vitamins because all these good bacteria, they're producing tons of vitamins for our body. They cause the intestine very healthy so that we don't get any allergy, asthma, cancer, nothing. Good immunity will be there if there is good bacteria. That is why we call it as protection against infections. Good conjugated bile, meaning free movement of the digestive process and immune regulation. You all know this, so I am not going into the detail. But what happens if there is dysbiosis, leaky gut syndrome? Then what happens is allergies increase, asthma increase, as I said, obesity, overweight. You might be going to the gym, trying to do fasting, try to cut down carbohydrates, still weight is not decreasing. Cancer is increasing because of dysbiosis. Cardiac vascular disease, kidney disease, etc. So what is the solution? A2 milk. Now, being in Chennai, I get first thing, so this is the summary. If you have missed any of these earlier slides, the people who have joined recently, so A2 milk is the best. Free-ranging cows, grass-fed, unhomogenized. Then fermented form of milk is the best. Is it good to drink milk? Actually, no. Only for medicinal purposes, milk is recommended in Ayurveda and Siddha. They even recommend buttermilk, and ghee is the best. Most of the medications are using ghee. Milk is used only for external applications like some thylums, medicated oil. They use milk. Otherwise, it is ghee only. Reason is because what is the difference between milk, yogurt, buttermilk, and ghee? When we ferment with good bacteria like lactobacillus, the milk turns into yogurt, and then we churn it, we take the fat, then leftover is buttermilk, which is very, very good, fat free, and the ghee is protein free also, pure oil, which is excellent for the body to make good health. But we eat protein separately, not with the mixed one. So next is testing. Why do we test milk? So being in Chennai, I was trying to get organic milk, which was easily available. But A2 milk, I was shocked. 20 brands are there. I purchased one, but I had a doubt. I cannot trust without testing. I tested, and that's how we started the Amma Genomics. We tested, and I was shocked that it is not A2 milk. It has been adulterated with A1 milk and also buffalo milk. So that is how we started testing for the A1, A2 milk in India, in Chennai. And a lot of people who said that when they stopped milk, psoriasis, allergies all went away. But immediately when they start drinking, again it started. So this is one case of a psoriasis. This guy, 21-year-old, he got severe psoriasis. He tested with us, and we gave the unified treatment. Polyphenol rich food we asked them to eat, because polyphenols are the compounds in our food which will help to grow good bacteria. So if we eat polyphenol rich food, we grow good bacteria and we have good health. The moment we eat refined food like white rice, white sugar, refined rice, these will not contain the polyphenol, and so bad bacteria will grow. This guy got completely cured after he stopped drinking milk, but then he started with A2 milk. He was able to get it in his village, pure one, and polyphenol diet. Now for past 2 years, he did not have any issues. Earlier, he had used steroids and other medicines. So this shows that it is not the problem of the milk, but it is the quality that we are using. And also we started looking at polyphenols in milk, which is very important. We have to know what type of feed they are giving. The people who are selling milk, they will say our cows are grass fed. At Amma Genomics, we are able to test and see whether they really gave feed or they gave something else. We looked at polyphenol, and published papers are also there, that grass-fed has more polyphenol in milk rather than with the confined and also cattle feed fed ones. So we started that, and we found that not only cow's milk we started testing, we also started testing breast milk. When children had health issues, we told mothers, please check, send your breast milk to Amma Genomics. We will test whether you are eating properly and the child is healthy. Your breast milk should be very, very healthy. So we tested and we helped many mothers. And we also started looking at the bacteria in the mother's milk and also in the stool samples of children and everybody. We also look at the yogurt,